What is up, guys? We are back with another video, and it is finally time for the Rank 1 Rocket Guide. Now, for those of you who don't know, I've been playing Rocket almost every game this season, and through my disciplined training, I've come to realize how high of a skill cap this hero really has, and how he has the potential to be one of the strongest heroes in the game, as well as one of the most carryful, I guess, I don't even know if that's a word, but he's one of the heroes in the game that has the most carry potential of every hero, purely because of the high skill cap required to play this hero. This is not a hero that most people can play. He requires really strong coordination, map awareness, just in general knowledge of the game. He's a very high skill character. And so that's why in this guide, I'm going to try to break down his abilities to make it sound and seem as simple as possible for maybe new players or even advanced players looking to increase their effectiveness on this character. So starting off with your very basic ability, your left click. It does a lot of damage in the close range. Some people don't even realize how much damage it actually does because they may often try shooting at distance and realize, oh, that does no damage at all. But watch what happens when they're right in front of you. Look at how fast they die. It is actually unbelievable. So when do you really want to be using your damage? Because you don't have the ability, like some healers, to just spam left click all game and then heal and DPS at the same time by doing that. You don't have the luxury of doing that, which is again why this character requires immense skill to use properly. Because your left click and right click are different. They do different things. And so when do you want to use your damage? Is when Number one, your team is full health, or at least relatively full. Number two, your team has some kind of ultimate or CC ability that renders the enemy immobile, and you can just delete them. Two prime examples would be like the Emma grab or the Eye of Agamotto. So many times I will see, or even the Emma ult, you will see one of these ults like the Agamotto, and the enemy team will get stuck, and you can just dash in and delete someone so quickly. Same thing when your Emma grabs someone, and same thing when there's an Emma ult, and I'm sure there's more, like maybe the Thing using his ground pound thing, and there's a diver that can't run away. There's many examples where you'd want to use it. But overall, it's just such high damage, but you need to use it in close range. Also, things like a diving Venom. Maybe a Venom dives you, you're like, okay, my Luna's full health, I'm going to shoot him down a little bit. You do strong pressure. And another extremely important thing is because of how powerful Groot is, you need to know that Rocket is one of the best ways to break Groot walls. Probably the best healer for breaking Groot walls. Because, again, how much damage you do. The Groot walls you off, you might think, okay, I'm just going to dash over like this and then heal. Like, let's say there's a Groot wall right here, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going to dash up and heal. And then you fall down, and the Groot wall doesn't matter anymore. You have another healer right there who's maybe stuck in the room and can't get over. You need to realize, okay, I got to break this wall. And then you could shoot it down so quickly. That is the main situations you want to use your gun. Is really when the enemies are really close and they're in some kind of CC, or your team is full. Even if your team is full, you don't really want to go pushing into the front line to actually get your damage off. Because Rocket is very good at a distance healer. Like standing far in the back, because if a diver comes for you, you can often survive. Which will bring me to the next ability, which is your shift. Your dash. Probably one of the best things about Rocket is his dash. It is an extremely high skill ability that you should always be aware of where the enemy flankers are. And if they don't have flankers, you probably find yourself not needing to use your dash that often. Because you're probably all the way in the back. Let's say this is your Luna right here. You're probably like way back here. Maybe even a bit further, just the map doesn't allow me. Healing the front line, healing your Luna, and then you see a Panther. Like, it depends on what the diver is. If it's an Iron Fist, you never want to play Rocket into an Iron Fist because he will track you. Your running doesn't work. You can't run. Spider-Man, I would still prefer to play Cloak because Spider-Man can also track you. If you're running up the wall, he could still track you. Magic, Panther, and Psylocke are good things to play Rocket against, because if it's a Psylocke, for example, you could probably jump around the corner, heal yourself. You could move around the Magic, Panther, and the Psylocke. If it's a Panther, you could just go up and they can't touch you. Same thing with the Magic. But in Iron Fist and Spider-Man, much more difficult. Now, it still works, but I would much rather play Cloak against an Iron Fist or a Spider-Man, because you just drop your bubble and you won't die through your combo. You could just keep healing your team. Versus as Rocket, you have to run around. And the Spider-Man will keep chasing you. The Iron Fist will definitely keep chasing you. But Rocket is very good against every diver except for those two. Spider-Man, Iron Fist. And you want to save your dashes for when they're actually flanking you. Like, let's say there's your front line, and maybe you want to reposition, save your dash. Save your dash unless you really have to. Because the moment that magic comes, if you don't have your dash, you're literally just going to die. You will just die. The magic will one-shot combo you. There's nothing you can do. You will just die. That is how you get out. A Luna could freeze. Mantis could sleep. Cloak could bubble or do her invisible thing. Invisible Woman could jump away. If you don't have your dash, you're dead. Next ability is your Revive Beacon. Another extremely high skill ability that very few people actually use properly. First thing you want to do is whenever you're in the spawn room, you always want to put it down. And the reason why you want to put it down is so your team can grab the repair things. Oh, I didn't even know it could do that. It could respawn the bots in the training room. I didn't know it could do that. Anyways, when you put the beacon down, it'll shoot around the little the repair packs that give you extra health. You always want to put that down at the start of the game. Second thing about this ability is you always want to find. Wait, let me turn on the ability cooldown. Is you always want to find a location that the enemy team won't find it. So let's say you're fighting here, somewhere, you know, down here, where the enemy team won't spot it. Because if you put it somewhere where a flanker will... Because you need to keep in mind flankers. Even if you put it somewhere that they'll never see, unless they have a flanker, you want to keep in mind if they do have flankers. That's why you want to find a spot that... Like, you don't want to put it in a common flanking route that a flanker would come across. Like... You just need to keep in mind, okay, the flankers are probably going to come here, but they'll never go here. And that's where you want to put it. Now, let's say you die early, right? You die early in the fight, and you're running back to the fight. Let's say the fight is taking place all the way up there. You want to actually throw the revive beacon as you're coming back in case someone dies because you're not there. So as you're running back, you're dashing, and you want to lob the revive beacon as far as you can as you're coming back to the fight. That way, if someone dies before you're there, they get revived, and you don't just lose the team fight. Now, once you get back to the fight, before you reposition it, you want to make sure everyone's full health and no one's actually going to die. Because the moment you press E to shut down the beacon to replace it, it's going to have a 5-second CD. So if you press E to reposition it and you got to wait 5 seconds and someone dies, you just lose all that value. You do not revive them. It is a huge waste. Now, your last ability and the most important ability is just your basic right click, which is to heal. Oh yeah, there is one more, which is the ultimate. We'll get into that. Your right-click ability, which is to heal. Now, this is also an extremely difficult ability, and here's how you use it effectively right here. You just do this. You just shoot your teammates. It's extremely difficult to nail this down, but once you get into the habit of just holding down right-click, everything becomes easy. Just like this. Sometimes you want to do this. Sometimes you want to do that. But for the most part, you just do this. Now, in terms of positioning, if they don't have flankers, or maybe if your team is really low and you can get into a good position, like let's say the enemy front line's there, maybe you can get in a good position to bounce off the floor like this, which will heal your team much faster, these little bounces. But I do find myself coming close to the front line often if I know there's a good angle. Like, let's say there's a bridge up here, and I'm in the back line here, right? This is kind of similar to the new map in Season 1.5, was it? The Hell Vampire map, right? Or I think Season 1. They had the bridge like this, and it's like this. It's basically like this structure, but then there's the front line, right? You could go to the side of it where they can't see you and heal your team like this, your tanks like this, if they're taking too much damage and you really need to keep them up. It also protects you from the back line. If you're too far in the back line, a Psylocke or a Magic or an Iron Fist or Spider-Man, or really anyone can dive you a lot easier. So there are some maps where you'd want to stay close to your team and you want to find the angle next to them where you can just puddle like this and just heal the ground to give them a big healing. That positioning is pretty important. But sometimes if they don't have flankers, it probably serves you best to sit far in the back and just spray like this and just heal bot. You're not going to be doing a lot of damage like this, but that's fine. That's fine. Rocket has insane healing output. Now, your last ability is something that separates a lot of good rockets from bad rockets. Your actual amplifier. Last season, it was a lot easier because no one shot it, because it didn't do that much. People didn't kill it often. They just ignore it. Now that it heals or gives you the overhealth, everyone knows to shoot it, and it dies fast. So the way you always want to use it is behind cover, but you need to keep in mind where your team might be pushing. Let's say, like, for example, the angle right here. If I put it behind cover right here, it's not going to heal my team over there. It's not going to do that. So I'd want to push forward like this. Now, let's say this wall is bigger, right? Let's say this wall is bigger. And my tank's on the front line. I'm in the back. I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to dash to the front, go to the corner, and put it right here. So this wall is bigger. It'll protect my team, and they can't shoot it. The enemy team's in the front line there. It protects my team. They get they gain the overhealth, which does stay for a little bit. So if they do push beyond the actual range, they will still have it for a little bit. Now, this is extremely important. Sorry, you see, this rocket guide is it's very stressful. That's why I'm yawning. It's extremely important that you put it behind cover. And the second thing is also very important, is if you're using your ult to counter ult, you need to be very careful, because some ults, they will delete the ult so fast. Hela, Punisher, Iron Fist. I could probably name a few more where they could shoot your ult and kill it really, really, really quickly. And especially like a Punisher or an Iron Fist, they will just shred it. So for those ults, you need to be very careful about how you position it. If their Punisher is ulting right here, you need to put it somewhere where he can't shoot it. You have to, because it will die so fast, it is practically useless. Same thing with a couple of their heroes. And there's some heroes that can't kill it quickly, like let's say a Star-Lord. A Star-Lord can't even shoot it. They can't even lock onto it. So if it's a Star-Lord, you don't need to be as precise with your placement. Sometimes against a Star-Lord, your goal is to get it down as fast as possible. Maybe you're in the open and they pop it and you're like, fuck, I'm going to die really quickly. Let me just drop that right away. It'll probably save your team, because it's one of those times where you need to drop it fast, because Star-Lord damage of their ult comes out really, really quick. Punisher's slower. The Judge, Jury, Executioner, then he has to walk really slowly. So you have more time to place it. Not to mention, Star-Lord is always in the air. He has a much broader view. But, that's basically it, guys, for this guide. It's an extremely difficult character, and you have so much carry potential. But if you follow these tips, I'm sure you'll go on insane winning streaks and reach top 500 very quickly. Because this hero, especially this season, is very powerful. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please remember to like, subscribe, comment, and turn on notifications so you can see when my next video is. And as always, guys, take care.